Hey, this is Tomi Swick, and welcome to 24 Hours Podcast, Doc.
T-minus 4, 3, 2, 1.
Following is a 24 Hours podcast.
Tomi Swick, you hail from Hamilton, Ontario. Now, normally if one comes from Hamilton, you're either a steelworker or a hockey player.
Yeah.
How did you bypass that route?
Well, I was an athlete, and I did work in the steel mill with my family. I worked, but I got hurt playing sports, and I'd always played music, and I decided I was going to give it a try. And I luckily was able to secure a lot of gigs around Hamilton and surrounding area, playing cover gigs for the last bunch of years to pay my rent, and that's how I kind of decided this is what I was going to do. You know.
Now, in Hamilton, are you far enough away to actually be an official Toronto Maple Leaf hater?
I'm not a Maple Leaf hater at all, because we're big Maple Leaf supporters in Hamilton. You know what I mean?
There's a big rivalry between Hamilton and Toronto.
If you're talking about Tiger Cats and Argos, now there's no love there, none at all. But I mean, no, we're all Maple Leaf supporters there. We hate Toronto, but we love, if it's something that we can rival them against, then we hate them. But other than that, it's all.
Well, this is your first time in Vancouver?
This is my second time in Vancouver.
And you're touring around on a brand new album and a very highly acclaimed and good sounding record called Stalled Out in the Doorway. And of course, the lead track we know of, Everything Is All Right. First of all, I want to go on the video shoot of that. Were you actually on the roof of a house?
Yeah, we were on the roof of a house in the suburbia in West Toronto. It was pretty cool.
Was it a little bit difficult maneuvering yourself? Because obviously it must have been a bit of a hellish shoot to do that.
It wasn't hellish at all. It was actually pretty weird. It was really fun. It was my first video ever. And the only weird part about it is I had just gotten back from Scotland, and I had torn the ligaments in my ankle. Flew home in a cast, and I had just gotten out of the cast. And so standing on the roof where the way the pitch was agonizing on my ankle. And my guitar player had two busted legs a couple years ago, so he had a bad leg too. So both of us were just sitting there playing and jumping around, but just in agony, like when we said cut. But no, it was really cool. It was interesting to be up there and see all the boom, like big cameras.
Now, you've got some Scottish blood in you, and I understand that you play bagpipes.
I did for a short while when I was a kid.
And you also were into military drumming. So can you do the twirling and all that?
No, basically what happened is I was in the Navy Cadets when I was a kid, and I picked up the drums, and I started basically the bagpipes and the drums. I was better at the bagpipes than I was at the drums. I'm an absolutely, I'll put on record, terrible drummer. The worst drummer of all time. And I just picked up, I was just sitting there doing, the marching kind of drum stuff. And then I ended up just quitting that, and then that's when I went to bagpipes. So I just did it very, very shortly in the bagpipes. I learned how to play them a bit. I went from a chanter, which is just like a little flute, to the goose, and then I was getting on the pipes, and they threw me music. And I was like, wait a minute, what the hell is this? What's this music? I don't know how to read music. And so I chickened out and quit. So that's the whole bagpipes in drums thing. I did it, but I didn't go very far in it.
Now, you were in a cover band before, you were telling us, and your influences, I guess you were playing a variety of artists and stuff. What were your personal musical influences growing up?
Okay, well, I grew up with my mom. My mom has a beautiful, beautiful voice, just stunning voice. And my mom used to always sing gospel songs and old traditional Scottish songs. And those are the ones that kind of linger in my head. But we'd listen to as a kid, a lot of Motown, a lot of there was the country stuff with Hank Williams and Dolly Parton, Patsy Cline. And then for myself, it was, I grew up right in grunge, right? So it was Nirvana and Pearl Jam, Soundgarden and Stone Temple Pilots, and Blind Melon was a huge one for me. And as I got going, there was James Taylor, Paul Simon, the Beatles, Pink Floyd. Radiohead is now my favorite band of all time, one of my absolute favorites. So just this plethora of things, and now even I'm getting more into have you heard of Frou Frou or Massive Attack, cool stuff like that? It's just,
You've got quite a nice range on the album. For example, your ballads are very melodic and a great voice. Your bio says lilting melodies. What exactly is a lilting melody?
Oh, I don't know. I think they probably derive that from my heritage. You think of a lilt or something like that. It's just a pretty, somewhat. I'm gonna sound cheesy saying this, but I guess lilting is somewhat haunting, is somewhat enchanting. You know what I mean? It's kind of something you think of in a dream or in a beautiful place.
Well, you've got quite the nice range. For example, Still in the Light, which I found was just a really sweet song. And then I'm going to take a wild guess here. I've never seen you perform. Would you open your show with Habits by any chance?
We don't. We open with Come in Twos. We used to. Habits is one that in the studio we got Justin Abbott, an amazing guitar player, to come in, and he did all pedal steel or lap steel stuff on that, because I originally said the song was done, and I said I've got this. I know what I want for the beginning. I want this kind of atmospheric, kind of Where the Streets Have No Name kind of vibe, And so we got that, but live just orchestrating between me and my guitar player Andrew hasn't been worked out yet. We're still new. We're still working on getting this whole band thing together, and excuse me. We open with Coming Twos because it punches pretty hard.
I just kind of thought Habits has that kind of ethereal kind of start. I could see a dark stage, that music playing, and then all of you guys just kick.
We originally were, and we have opened with it before, but we just found that Coming Twos the way we opened Coming Twos similarly, with that kind of.
Now you were out enjoying the town of Vancouver last night. You said to me off before we were recording that you could actually live here. So your impression of Vancouver is?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a stunning place. Beautiful people. A lot healthier looking people than most places in the country, and just people seem a bit happier here. You know, when you're near you're near beautiful Pacific Ocean, you're near beautiful Rocky Mountains. You know, what I mean, you're in this, you're caught between two of the most beautiful things in the world. You know, so it's pretty great. It's good. It seems like it's really good for the soul. There's a lot of healthy restaurants and like chilled out clubs. It's a nice place. It seems like it'd be a very nice place to live.
Well, congratulations on a very strong debut album, and it's great meeting you. Best of luck to you.
Thank you so very much for having me. Cheers.
24hours.ca